Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome. This is week 17. This is the championship week. And this is your shepherd here to guide you with the wolf, SoCal himself. And yeah, folks, man, we are here. We have arrived. Um, we got we've got an early taste of the week 17 slate now, haven't we? And I want to touch up on this for a second, Wolfie, because you know, as much as I'd like to think that my memory is good, and so like whatever day Christmas fell last year, I don't remember there being a concentration of prime time games smack in the middle of the week. Thursday night football has been a staple now for a while, so that's fine. But this Christmas Day, the two games plus Thursday night football, we've already got six teams that have kicked off this championship slate for the fantasy football world. So six teams between Wednesday and last night. Four out of the six, I think, combined for 21 points.
Yeah, three games that weren't great at all. I mean, for for most, I mean, other than a few players. So from a football perspective of just watching the games, there was the first two games were blowouts. I mean, so if you're just watching to enjoy the game, I mean, there wasn't much to enjoy. Pittsburgh hung around for a while, but it wasn't pretty to watch.
Yeah.
And then obviously last night was just I don't know what Seattle's doing, but I mean, there's a lot of disappointment from the fantasy side of things, right? I mean,
Well,
expected Charbonnet, JSN, obviously DK, was better last week. I mean, you would have hoped he did better than last night. I mean, what Noah Fant was the leading scorer on the Seattle offense. I mean,
helps nobody.
helps nobody. Houston, right? I mean, Mixon, Stroud. Maybe you play Dalton Schultz if you were streaming a tight end, and obviously you got zero upside. And hey, if you did, there was nothing wrong with that call. The matchup was there. Houston not being able to score points against Baltimore's pass defense is beyond me, man. And then Travis Kelce sighting. I don't know. Pittsburgh just said we're just not going to guard Travis Kelce because he was in the middle of the field wide open all day long. So if you held true to playing Kelce all year long and you made it this far, I mean, it paid off because he had a monster game, and Lamar is, an MVP candidate. So
there were a few on Tuesday night that asked about Kelce, start Kelce or Brenton Strange or Chigakonkwa, and so to me that was one of the easier lineup dilemmas or start sit dilemmas, because if you have Kelce on your roster and you've made it to the week 17 championship round, you might as well roll with Travis Kelce. We don't just we have a full career body of work. We don't just have a few game sample like we do with some of these others. We have a full career of Travis Kelce. So, I mean, that one was rather easy. I mean, whether he scored, I mean, the game that he had, that was, of course, beautiful icing on the cake. But nevertheless, I mean, if you've gotten by with him, you might as well just continue to roll. But yeah, back to the point, though. Between the Seahawks dudes, your Bears, on the Steelers side, yeah. I mean, like, so they scored 10 points. You had to dig for fantasy performances between these six games. You had to dig for a Jalen Warren, so who may have came out like roses. George Pickens, he was always going to be a wide receiver 3 this week, coming back from injury. So there were some others that stood out to me. It was like we didn't get blown off. We didn't get blown out of the water with the Chiefs running backs. There was nothing from Kareem Hunt besides the touchdown, but he didn't get you much after that. Yeah, nothing from Pacheco. Nevertheless, yeah, very underwhelming. Except for, of course, if you're Lamar Jackson, if that's your quarterback, you're sitting in a nice spot right now. If you're of course Derrick Henry, yeah, no, Nico Collins managers. I mean, again, it was going to be a tough road for you to arrive to this week if you have Nico Collins, but if you did, disappointing. CJ Stroud, disappointing. Joe Mixon, 2 weeks in a row, disappointing. It was a bad week for some of the stars that we were counting on, or for some of the guys that were definitely in like your two spot, whether it be wide receiver two, whether it be RB2, Najee Harris. Nevertheless, and then last night, again, if it four teams put up 21 points between four teams. Now that obviously is a scoreboard number, but I mean it also tells you four combined for 21 points. You didn't get a lot of scoring. All right, that's my soliloquy. Other than the fact, I know that we want to get to Brizzleton Goat. The Mad Max Corleone is ready to go for the championship. The sniper is headed to Green Bay. She's going to go sign Tucker Craft, and to an extension, by the way. She's going to go sign him to an extension. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, we'll get your thoughts on. Now, not at all is this in no way, shape, or form am I or anybody else on this planet suggesting, recommending, telling you that that you should somehow inexplicably sit Jamar Chase tomorrow, because we're obviously not going to do that. but Wolf, I don't think it's being talked about enough, or it may not be talked about, or may not be made aware of enough, that this might be the showdown, DB versus wide receiver, the quote unquote best cover DB in the game versus the best wide receiver going for the Triple Crown. This might be kind of a letdown game for the Jamar Chase managers. Again, no one's sitting him. Nobody in there, right? Nobody.
I don't even think the Surtain, deal is really the concern. The concern, which seems better now, is if the weather is absolutely brutal. But
okay, there's that. There's the weather element.
That's been the concern all week. But as of a few hours ago, I read, I think it was on Roto or somewhere with the weather report, like 3 or 4 hours ago, that it's gotten better and a lot of the weather may come after the game, which would be nice. But yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't think the matchup matters. Jamar Chase is just out there. The thing about the Bengals is they have a T. Higgins who's a wide receiver one. I mean, I know that T has put up some games where he hasn't been around, where and a couple duds, but on the year he has 5.5 less points than Puka Nacua in the same amount of games. So we talk about Puka and how great he is. I mean, total points, which can be misconstrued a little. So I'm not saying that I'd rather have T on my roster than Puka. All I'm saying is T is having a hell of a year. He's on that offense too. I don't think Chase is slowed down by anybody. I mean, I don't think that.
I'm playing a tiny bit of devil's advocate. I am a Jamar Chase manager. I've been a Jamar Chase kind of sort of stan, if you will, along with Devontae Smith for several years now. We have seen his full fledgling talent erupt this season, fully healthy, not even with a full contract or a contract extension, I should say. Now, again, this is like, I think tomorrow is kind of like one of those storylines, again, that may not be getting enough talk. It's kind of like the immovable force meets the unbreakable object, or if it's the other way around. Let me put it to you this way. I don't believe that we're going to see like the Bronco shenanigans that we saw a few weeks ago when it came to the Browns, where you didn't get Surtain one-on-one or guarding Jerry Jeudy. Like, the Broncos need this win as much as the Bengals do. I think you're going to see that dude line up wherever Jamar Chase lines up on the formation. It's going to be like, Goliath versus Goliath, so to speak. It's one of these matchups. Not saying that
Yep.
Jamar Chase can't, not suggesting, again, not suggesting one way, shape, or form that Jamar Chase can't beat him.
But it's not the greatest matchup, and with the weather, sure. But again, you could come out and tell me that it's the world's worst weather ever to be in a football game, and I'm playing Jamar Chase
Oh,
and
yeah,
hoping for the
no,
best. But I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I
100%.
totally understand. It's definitely not the ideal week 17 matchup in championship week, right? You wish he was playing Baltimore again, or playing Washington again, or playing one of these teams that he just absolutely torched this year. But nonetheless, I mean, you're rolling with them. You're hoping the weather stays nice, and you're hoping that they find a way to get them open. And let's answer some questions, man.
Big Chase Brown as well. Big Chase. We're big team Chase. We have been. We have been all year. Brizzleton Jones. Well, speaking of, you just mentioned Puka Nakua a couple of minutes ago. Puka Nakua is seeing an insane first target share, like an insane number, like 40% of Matthew Stafford's targets are going to Puka Nakua. That's what's been hurting Cooper Cup.
Yeah.
Look, and the Cardinals are just like the Cardinals are beat dog right now. They are, and the Rams still need to win the game. I think I think I would roll with experience here in Cooper Cup over. I like Marv too. If this is your wide receiver two, these are two decent wide receiver twos. These are good wide receiver twos on your team. If they're not even wide receiver twos and they're a wide receiver three or a flex, that makes it even better. I think I would go Cup here. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm still going to go Cup. I mean, Marv just hasn't shown enough for me to be confident in that. I mean, 8 targets last week, 6 the week before. They're not great targets, though. They're not turning into any good numbers. And, we saw Trey McBride and how mad he was last week. I mean, the fact that he wasn't used in that game, a must-win game, wide open all day long. I don't know what Kyler was looking at, but dude had like 2 targets the entire afternoon. I expect a lot of McBride against the zone coverage all day long. Like, I think that it's a McBride game, and yeah, I'm just gonna roll with Cup, man. Marv hasn't done enough for me to trust him, and although Cup has been bad the last couple of weeks, I'm rolling Cooper Cup. I mean,
yeah, I think I would too. I would roll with, again. I kind of feel like, I don't know if you want to call it like that's the due game, like he's due, or the fact that, like, again, the Cardinals are just like, it's at some point within, like, within the game, like they're just going to be like soft zone coverages for Cup to just find the easy soft spots. And yeah, this has been a disappointing, or our expectations were too high for Marvin Harrison, or they were too high for Kyler Murray. One or the other, or both.
yeah, probably a little bit of both, but yeah,
Probably
I mean,
both.
like I said, I'm rolling Cup there.
Mad Max Corleone. It's Jerome Ford. Jarius. We call him Jarius here, Mad Max Corleone. And you're going to call him Jarius also when it's all said and done. Yeah, we're Ford fans here. He does show a nice flash of explosiveness. He's a good, capable pass catcher. It's just, we just wish it was a little bit more consistent. Adam Thielen, Tajay Spears for the flex. I took a mulligan on Shoo. Yeah, if Pollard sits, it's crappy to go Spears or Jacobs find the matchup. Well, here's the thing, which we should be paying a little bit more attention to, and I'm sure that Wolf is. Tony Pollard is due some nice bonus cash coming up. If he meets touchdown bonuses coming up, if he meets rushing yardage bonuses. I know he hasn't practiced. I got the practice report right here in front of us. He hasn't been practicing. Tony Pollard's going to play. I think they're going to try to get Tony Pollard these bonuses. I think it's like another $250,000 if he gets to 1,100. So he needs to get that within the next 2 games. And I think he needs like another 2 touchdowns as well for the next 2 games. I think that's where we are with Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard. As in, like, I don't think we should be playing Tajay Spears.
No, I
Um,
mean, also he had, let's Spears had 10 carries for 27 yards. He found the
yeah,
end zone twice. I'm not going to be fooled by that. Like I'm okay with Tajay Spears. Like I think he's a nice young player. He's a nice, second running back. But he had 10 carries for 27 yards. And I know if Pollard sits, he does get the volume, but I don't know if that matters. And I'm not playing him over Jacobs, who is Jacobs touched the ball 10 times on the Packers' first drive the other night. He is the engine that makes Green Bay go. Like there's
monster.
no world where I'm sitting Jacobs, right? Like I don't care. Spears can score 2 touchdowns again. I'm gonna live with that. For me, no chance I sit Jacobs. And the first one, it's Ford for me. I'm taking the running back with the touches.
And the volume.
I'm taking the volume. I'm taking a game that's also supposed to be pretty ugly and slippery and wet. And on top of the weather in that game, Dorian Thompson-Robinson sucks and can't throw the football, and they should be giving Jerome Ford a ton of volume. He had 11 carries last week in a game where they were losing the entire time, ran the ball well. Not really sure why they tried to give it to Deontay Foreman on the goal line and get cute. Just give the ball to the guy that got you down there on a 60. I don't think you see that again. I think you see Jerome Ford at the goal line. And so I'm taking Ford there. So Ford, and I'm not playing Jacobs.
I'm fully agreeing with that. I think that's the move, man, Max Coleone. That's the move. Hello, sniper. She's not just going to sign Tucker Craft. She's going to go see
Romeo.
Of course she's going to see Romeo, her other husband. What's up, notorious MSB GOAT? I have the predicament of starting Kyler Murray. And James Conner. Why is this a particular? Or Stafford and Tajay. Or Kyler and Spears. I don't think Conner will have too many reps since they're out of the playoffs. And you bring up a good point. So James Conner was limited today. So was Trey Benson was limited. Where Trey Benson didn't.
I don't think Trey Benson's going to play. I mean,
I didn't see any other Arizona running backs on this report though. Like there was nothing like for any DeMarcados. Well, I guess
DeMarcado's out. DeMarcado's out too. They moved Carter to the practice squad, but I think that's just until they rule Benson out, and they'll bring Carter up on Sunday. Carter's the name to watch. Like and it's tomorrow night. So if Connor does sit and there's no DeMarcado and no Benson, I'm looking at Michael Carter depending on, how deep of a league I'm in at possibly playing him. I mean, it just depends on your lineup. But watch the name Michael Carter. If he's on waivers, I would drop somebody I'm not playing at all and pick up Michael Carter.
But look at this question right here, Wolf. Now, he starts off predicament of starting Kyler Murray and John Connor. I call him John.
Yeah,
or Stafford. Are these 2 separate teams, or is this
it's just or a mix of it. He's saying you could go.
I'm reading it as a mix of it.
It's a mix, and I mean, I think I'm still playing Kyler. He still had 20 points last week. Like even when it's ugly, he's still been putting up decent points, and he has the upside. And I'm not like. I think there's a little more upside than Stafford, so I'm still rolling Kyler. And if Connor does play, I understand the reps question, but like, why are they going to play? What's the point of even playing him then? Like, if he's been banged up, if he's out there going, I would imagine that he's going to get most of the workload because why not rest? What? That's my only question to that question is like, why not just give him the day off? What's the point of playing at all? So if he's out there, the way I look at it is he's going to get the ball a good amount.
In other words, if the Cardinals were not out of it and knowing that Connor is kind of coming in questionable, he's coming in sort of with a kind of injury to some extent. he would be active, and we would expect his full workload. However, considering right that he does have some sort of injury, and B, the Cardinals are not playing. Yeah, it's like I don't see them playing Connor. I don't.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't
if
see him playing
Pollard's
Connor. Well, why? Why risk him getting even further injured that could potentially have him out well into next season, based on the point of the year we're at.
yeah, I
Unless they
mean,
have no plans on bringing him back anyway.
it's
That
just
could be
tough
it also.
if he's ruled in and they're going to play him. There's no point for him to be active and not be involved. And if Pollard's playing, like how much is Spears? I mean, I guess, we saw Spears was involved even with Pollard, right? He had 10 carries. He got goal line work. So you're going to get hopefully 10 to 13 touches from Spears, even if Pollard plays. Where with Connor, you are worried about that no matter what. So if you want, I like Connor better, but it's probably safer to play Tajay Spears. So I think you're safer to go Kyler Spears. And hopefully Pollard's out for you, because then Tajay gets the entire workload. But even if he doesn't, he should see double-digit touches, and that might be enough for me to say, well, I don't want to worry about Connor not really being involved. I don't want to worry about Connor being there just because maybe Connor's there because they don't have the depth, and it's going to be all Michael Carter, and Connor's there just in case because there is no Benson, no DiMercado, right? I mean, or he does get involved and he touches the ball one time, he leaves the game. So if I don't want to worry about any of those things that we have no real clue and it's all kind of just spitballing,
let's not forget it's
play Tajay,
It's also coming up to the fact of, the Cardinals Rams are on tomorrow night. So, our goat over here is like trying to not just make a decision on the running backs, but then he's up against it considering it's a primetime game tomorrow. Again, part of that wrench that the NFL decided, not that they think it's a wrench, it's just a wrench into the fantasy aspect of it, where you've got all these teams that played in the middle of the week. Now you got the typical Saturday games, which is what we see every season. Nevertheless, though, that's also, I think, leading into this, or part of this question, or the equation, I should say, as well. Nevertheless, I think the safer play would be to go with Tajay.
Kyler Tajay probably is the way to go.
To go with, yeah. Well, I don't know Kyler. I mean, again, it's like. He just has not been doing it. He has not been doing it for weeks. He's getting it close to it because of his rushing, but he hasn't really been rushing that well either.
No, but like I said, he still had 20 points left. I mean,
that's what I think that's the ceiling right there. So I mean, I think you could probably get that with Stafford. But nevertheless, it's either Kylo or Stafford. It's not that part's really not the dilemma. It's the running back. It's Connor or Tajay is the dilemma, or kind of a dilemma. Tommy Go, it's Lad McConkey or it's the Cheetah. It's Ramondre or it's Alexander Madison, PPR. Ramondre Stevenson's got a fumbling problem. And that's a problem. I don't know how much work Alexander Madison is going to get in this ball game. I really don't, considering the emergence of a veteran in Amir Abdullah. I would probably lean Madison. We know he's going to be on the field. They're damn near the same running back. Madison and Abdullah are basically the same running back. Just Amir Abdullah's been doing it a little bit longer. He's more seasoned at this point. But Lad McConkey or Tyreek.
Alexander Madison also sucks at football.
He does, doesn't he?
So annoying. Man. I'm sorry. Nobody in the NFL really sucks. You guys know
Ramondre Stevenson's heading that way also.
Not very good at football. That's very true.
He's heading that way.
But all right. I mean, what are your my question is, what are your thoughts on the Charger Patriot game? Like, do you think the Patriots keep it close? Because Ramondre gets work in a close. Like, the Chargers are okay against the run. They're nothing special. Like, if that game's close, Ramondre is going to be, he's going to touch the ball a lot. I mean, this could be a decent week for Ramondre. My issue with Madison is, like, it's him and Abdullah. If they don't find the end zone, they're going to be really awful. I mean,
well, I think, for what it's worth, the Chargers are a good traveling defense.
yeah, but their run defense is average, and it's been sub-average the last half of the season. And it's it's a 10:00 game, man, on the East Coast.
Yeah,
the schedule makers did them no favors, scheduled them a 10:00 game. I'm not too happy. My bias is completely out of these questions, but as a Charger fan, why I'm asking the NFL why the Chargers are playing at 10 a.m. on a triple header. But anyway, we move on from that. It is what it is. They got to show up, win a game, clinch a playoff berth, and against a bad team. So if they can't beat the Patriots, they shouldn't make the playoffs anyway. So,
I think they'll beat the Patriots. The question is, though, based on, as you were alluding to, the game script, if it's going to be kind of close at home in Foxborough, they may give Ramondre the ball. They may give Antonio Gibson may get the ball, though. That's the problem. That's the issue that we have right now, is that Ramondre Stevenson is the doctor.
How much passing work does Madison get in a game against New Orleans that they might be winning? We're used to Las Vegas having to throw the ball to their running backs. Do we miss out on that this week? Do we lose some PPR value because they're playing the Saints? I mean,
so then, okay. So then,
I'm just saying that's the upside to Madison, and is the passing work as well.
Right, but wouldn't he be the actual running back, even though he sucks at football?
Yeah,
he would be the running back to carry the ball too.
He would. I don't know how many. I mean, hopefully they still dump it off to him a little bit. I lean Madison. I lean Madison a little bit. New Orleans, as we saw the other night. I mean, Las Vegas isn't Green Bay, and now they're at home. They should be much better. Well, they can't be any worse than they were against the Packers. But whoever scores the touchdown probably is what's going to save you. Does Stevenson find the end zone or does Madison? But I like you said, with New England possibly trailing, Gibson maybe seeing the passing work. Ramondre's only seen 2 targets the last 2 weeks. Madison, they're probably kind of both around like 12, 13 carries for 55, 60 yards, you hope. Hopefully they find the end zone, and Madison sees a little more passing work. So, I'm going to go Madison just a little bit. Sitting Tyreek is hard, man, but
it is. It's definitely difficult.
Glad it is.
Again, a tough, what we think is going to be a tough game for the Dolphins up in Cleveland this time of year. I don't see that going well for the passing game and the Dolphins. I don't. That's not to say that the Cheetah may not get that touchdown, that one lone touchdown, but that one lone touchdown may also go to Devon Achane.
So, I mean, again, the thing is, you're
or Jonnu.
The thing about that game for the Dolphins aren't too hurt really by the weather either, because they love the short underneath game. So even though it might be wet, slippery, they want to get the ball out of Tua's hand quick and let Tyreek and those guys run with it. So all it takes is one play. What do you want? Do you want to hope Tyreek catches one and takes one to the house, or do you want to play the steady Eddie and Ladd, who's probably going to get you 6 for 70, no matter what? Like in this matchup, Ladd should get 6 for 70. Like that should be.
If Tommy Goat here is maybe trailing against his opponent championship week, and you want to swing for the fences and hit a home run, swing for that freaking upside that, we're all chasing, because that's what we should be chasing for the most part in the championship. Then Cheetah's your play, right? If you want a nice, if you want the good floor, if you want a steady, high floor in Ladd McConkey, That would be the play as well. That would be good. That should be good for 14, 15 PPR, and that's
And if
good.
he
That's a good
finds the
game.
end zone, then it's a big day. And again, the
And if
Chargers don't. I mean, Dobbins is activated, but I don't see him getting a huge workload. Is Gus was a little banged up too? Is he active?
Gus is inactive,
Yeah, I mean, who's going to run the football for the Chargers? So they're going to throw a lot, and Ladd's the guy. So, but
J.K.
yeah,
Rollins.
I hear you. I mean, it.
You got Dobbins and Haskins. Well, I mean, there's just
Yeah, and
Dobbins.
Dobbins. I mean, again, I think how you
Gus
said. I mean,
Edwards is ruled out, and there isn't another running back that I'm seeing here that's on the report. It would be J.K. It's J.K. or Haskins.
and he was just activated. So how much are they really going to run him into the ground? I mean, and for what it's worth, Tyreek still the last 4 weeks, 7 targets, 14 targets, 9 targets. So he's still getting the look. The problem is he had 3 catches last week, 2 the week before. So it just hasn't been there. But if you can't see yourself sitting Tyreek because you might catch one and break it, play Tyreek. But Ladd is a very safe play to get you those 13 points. And hope he finds the end zone too. So very close. Your favorite phrase, go with your gut. But we're feeding the gut. We're feeding the gut with the possibilities and why and what the options are and how to look at it. They are very, just like Ramondre and Madison, these two guys are very close, in where they are expected to be this week. So there you go.
What's up, Forever Eagles? Oh, I'm going to get right back to that, Tommy. I promise you. Made it to the chip. Of course you made it to the chip. Bud Hurts and Njoku are not going to be playing this weekend. Who should I start? Matt Stafford or Bo Nix? And for the tight end, Ferguson, Brenton Strange, Jawan Johnson, Chig, or Calcaterra. Shoot. Yeah, so Jalen Hurts is going to be out. I would probably go with Bo Nix against the Bengals. Although the matchup with Stafford is good. I think we're
It's
gonna
not as good as Cincinnati, though.
I think we're gonna do better with Bo Nix. That's right. I think we'll do better with Bo Nix. Now for the tight end, we're not going to chase Brenton Strange anymore.
It's Chig. It has to be Chig. The targets are double digits the last 2 weeks. You got to. I'm living with Chig in this. I'm living with Chig. And I'm hoping he sees another, 10 targets. I don't see why you want it. They're finally using him. This is the guy. This is a guy that last year.
Yeah, he's not. I remember the two of us, going back.
I'm a Chig guy.
I know you're a Chig guy.
After the rookie year was Chig and Otten. Those were my 2 tight ends, Chig and Otten. And we've seen Otten come on the way he should. Okonkwo, the numbers are there. The guy runs the routes. He's on the field. They just haven't utilized him, and now they finally are.
It's mystifying to me. It really is. Like this guy's like out of nowhere. Like not just this season, last year too. Last season, it's like, oh, well, there he is. There's Chig. Like we're all like pounding the table for Chig, and like he comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go Calcaterra just because of the quarterback. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do Juwan Johnson because of the quarterback. I would probably, if not Chig, I would go to Ferguson, who should be the only target owner on the team.
Yeah, that game could be really wet and rainy in Philly too. It could be real sloppy. The Cowboys, they could be in a lot of trouble, man, because if it's rainy, they can't run the ball very well, and the Eagles can. It could be ugly real quick. I mean, for the Eagles' sake, they want it to be rainy and ugly because no Jalen Hurts. It doesn't help you if you're a AJ Brown or Devonta owner, but it'll be the Saquon show. So for me though, I'm gonna roll with Chig. I'm going Nix and Chig.
I would go Nix, and I wouldn't have a problem with Chig or Ferguson, to be quite honest.
There we go. There it is. And I want to mention. Yeah, finish.
No, 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 no,
No, finish this because I'm going back to a previous question. So finish what you
no.
wanted to say.
Well, I don't even know what I was going to say anymore. I was going to say, I mean, I consider Ferguson and Chig. They're lumped right there in the same tier. They're both. I expect Ferguson to see a decent amount of targets in this game with just him and Brandon Cooks really, and it's not ideal, but it's not ideal being on the receiving end from Mason Rudolph either. But yet we've seen Chig now do double digit targets in the last few games, and that's with Calvin Ridley. So
Yeah, Ferguson had 9 targets last week. I mean, he might be a little bit more involved. I mean, obviously he will be more involved, but yeah, I'm not opposed to that. But I
yeah,
like Chig, and I do expect if
a lot
Strange
of
is your
Chig,
only
yeah.
option, I think we can't see much of a worse week than Strange had last week. And we talked about that. We recommended Strange across the board, but we shared multiple times we'd all be playing him and he would have a very good chance of letting us down. And that's exactly what happened. And, that's you live and
These
die. Now, of course, a lot of the questions were Hawkinson, who sucked as well, Fryermuth, who wasn't good, and then Kraft, who was pretty decent. But other than that, the other options weren't very good besides him either. So that was kind of our saving grace.
no,
And on that note, on that note, we get some misses, right? Kendra Miller wasn't good. They didn't give him the volume, but I will say sitting Joe Mixon was the right call because those other 3 running
Joe.
backs absolutely went nutso. But anyway, we're that week's over. Hopefully you advanced. I'll take our L's, but we got to toot our horn a little on the W's too, So
No, I mean, and when you're doing this long enough. Well, here's Hawkinson, by the way.
yeah, Mel,
Here,
strange.
Hawkinson is back on a championship roster for Tommy Goat. Now here's Chig again. It's no surprise that many of the goats are asking about tight ends. Yeah, I mean it's one of them. It's the most unpredictable position that we could that we have to mess with, that we have to work with.
Jawan Johnson won championships last year in week 17 for
Yes, he
people.
did. That was with Carr though, right?
No, yeah, I'm just saying as far as the position, he was really not irrelevant because he caught touchdowns, but he wasn't a starting tight end for fantasy.
almost almost under the same circumstances as this season. Taysom Hill was out.
So
right?
What I'm saying is a tight end sleeper, like a lot of people were hoping Dalton Schultz might be that guy, right? No Tank, no Diggs, great matchup.
But it's
Dalton Schultz, he could have been that league-winning tight end, but he fell short. You have a Brenton Strange could be that guy, right? Chig is highly ranked, but again, he's just come on. So you could have a tight end change the landscape of your championship matchup like Jawan did last year. I know we were wrong last week with Strange, but I'm still taking Chig in both these spots.
In this spot right here, Chig over Kraft.
I'm taking him over Kraft, and I'm taking him over Hawk.
Fair. And a kicker.
Real quick, when we were talking about the Chargers, just because I don't want to get too far from that comment, man, there's a comment just saying forget about Vidal with the Chargers. I think in reference to who's going to run the football. Yes, I just don't think we're going to see him get – my only point, because I'm not sure where that was coming from, is just that they don't really have someone who's going to run the ball a ton. I don't see Vidal getting, 15-plus carries. So just back to the point that they're going to be throwing the football a lot, I would imagine, with Justin Herbert, especially what he did last week. Like, dude, Justin Herbert is an elite quarterback. Just let the dude slang the rock. Quit playing around. Quit trying to run the football. Like, just let the dude slang the rock. When they did that last week, they took over that game, right? And that's how they won. So, but yes, Vidal is a nice, should be plenty involved in that game.
I almost forgot about him.
Yeah, he mentioned him. My only point was I don't see them running the ball a ton, but they do have Kamani Vidal. So, just wanted to share that.
And then Mad Max, of course, is playing for the chip. He's got the Joe Shiesty. Jaden Daniels. Man, Jaden Daniels had a hell of a game last week. Is he going to repeat that? Or shouldn't we go with the Wolves' steady Eddie, Joe Burrow?
Give me 1 sec, Steaks. Sorry, I got to
Play,
take this call.
yep, playing the Bengals. I mean, I'm gonna continue to roll with Joe Burrow. I am. I'm gonna continue to roll with Joe Burrow. I'm gonna go down with Joe Burrow. I mean the Skins, the Commanders, I should say. They don't have the easiest matchup, do they? The Commanders are playing. Of course, I forgot. Oh, the Commanders do have kind of sort of an easy matchup. Yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow is just playing at an MVP level. If his team and his defense were any better, he would be in the MVP conversation. And that's where I'm going to go there. Let me get back to this goat and the goat kicker. I'm gonna go with the Vikings kicker. Yeah, like the implied amount of points in that game I think are the highest for the week. One of the highest, like 48, 49, 50. I would do that. And he's indoors. That's a done deal for me. Hey, Drake London, Malik Neighbors, Jawan Jennings, or J.K. Dobbins in full PPR. I guess this is the flex. I'm really tempted to go with J.K. Dobbins here in the flex, but then we've got other options here, and they are really good options. It would be Malik Neighbors, Jawan Jennings, Drake London, and then J.K. Dobbins. That's what I would do here, just because we don't know how much work J.K. Dobbins is going to get, and then the Wolf, who is a resident Charger, by the way, did bring up the fact that Kamani Vidal may get some work here. They may not want to give a full load to J.K. Dobbins. And I think that's the reason why. I mean, I do want to play J.K., but I think Brock Purdy and Juwan Jennings are going to have a field day on Monday night. And you got to, it's the same old Giant situation. There's a good flow with Malik Neighbors, and Drake London's got a rookie quarterback playing the Commanders Sunday night. As much as I mean, I like all of them, but we have to pick one, huh? Yep. Or JK. Yeah, I'm gonna want one of these wide receivers. I'm gonna want Jawan Jennings. Jawan Jennings is the answer here. He's got $150,000 incentive for 90 rushing yards. By the way, but that's in 2 games though, and part of the reason why they may have, I don't know, he may have pushed himself back into getting active. I think if the Chargers, well, no, I think the Chargers don't. I don't think they mind paying J.K. Dobbins this bonus. I think they would be like, you know what, young man, you've stayed healthy. This is basically like more than we thought. Yeah, I don't think they don't mind him being active to get this bonus. They don't. And he has 2 games to do it. But yeah, that 90 rushing yards within 2 games. I think that would go back. That goes back into the first part of this IP goat. Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to put JK out on the field in the flex and sit London, sit Malik, sit Jawan Jennings. I don't really want to do that. Even, if he just needs 90, that's only. I think we're going to do better there.
My apologies.
You're good. You're good. So J.K. Dobbins has a nice 150 grand coming to him for 90 yards.
Yeah, and two weeks to get it right. So
and 2 weeks to get it. But I'm not sure if I want to sit J.K. out of these other wide receivers either. Like, again, to your point, we're not sure how much he's going to be on the field or how much he's needed.
How many in this group are you looking for? Just one?
I think it's one. I mean, I'm reading it as pick one. I know it doesn't say that.
Yeah, no, that's how I'm reading it too.
I'm going to sit JK here. call it like he's just coming back. Although he should be healthy, to be honest. Like they probably put him on IR to make sure that they gave him the the requisite amount of time to be healthy or to get healthy. But I like Jawan Jennings Monday night with the Niners. I would then do Malik Neighbors with a bad quarterback, and then I would do Drake London with a rookie quarterback on the road. That that's
Yeah, and I
that's
mean,
that's my order.
and back to and Jawan Jennings. I mean, again, he gave us another dud, but like they're gonna have to score some points. Detroit's defense is banged up. But Jawan Jennings should have a pretty good game this week too. Like I think you have to sit JK there. If he does have a big game, it's going to be finding the end zone with not a lot of action. I think. I don't think they rush him back in. I know they need him kind of because, like we said, it's Vidal and him pretty much and Haskins, but they should be able to. He wasn't getting a ton of carries ever to begin with. Even early in the season, it was 10 carries for 90 yards and a touchdown, right? 8 carries for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was never getting
God,
15, 18 carries consistently, and he's not going to.
yeah,
And he did say it's only one. Like I have
he
to play
was
those other 3 guys,
he
IV,
he
like, and live with it.
he was getting like worked into the passing game a little bit, like they were like he was starting to find his groove,
Yeah.
both facets of the game, and then
But now they have
yeah,
the
then
one
he
part of
then he
that
got
is they
hurt.
didn't have a pass catching back except
That's
for
that's what
him,
I'm
where now
saying.
Vidal has played a little bit. He's going to get some passing work. So that only hurts JK probably, right? Now that Vidal has found a little bit of footing as a rookie, you can trust him. He's looked explosive. We saw Haskins one play last week, but still they trust Haskins, right? They trust these guys to go out there and play. So I'm playing the 3 studs there.
Jelly of the month goat. I'm gonna stick with the Eagles. Or yeah, I'm gonna stick with it's definitely not Green Bay. Um, even though Tampa Bay is playing the Panthers, I wouldn't trust that.
The
And
Panthers
even
offense has looked a lot better, and Tampa
and
Bay is still susceptible. Bryce Young should have a pretty decent day offensively through the air. I mean,
and then I'm pretty confident we had a Las Vegas the other day on Tuesday. Um, and I said to myself, yeah, I get that Rhino, because he follows the Raiders closely too. And I said, yeah, I get that. I know that they are kind of playing better, so they are kind of sneaky. But at the same time, you've got a bad Raiders offense. You've got a bad you got a bad Saints team. I could see this just being like a sloppy score fest as well. I mean,
yeah,
like,
I mean, you're
I,
going
I
on the
really,
road.
like, isn't this like this would be the ideal game for like Spencer Rattler to like kind of like move around, try to hit Mason Tipton, try to get Kendre Miller going, Jawan Johnson perhaps. I can see the Saints putting up 17 to 20 points. That's why I don't really want to do the Raiders here. Well, let's stick with the team that is expected to play in the NFC Championship game, or one of the favorites to play in the
Yeah,
NFC
and
Championship game. That
they're coming off a loss. Like they're going to want. I mean, they also had 5 turnovers, in that game. Like I said, the weather could be ugly. Dallas is probably not going to be able to run the football very well, which makes it harder for that, offense to do a lot. Philly should be a good bounce back spot, and Philly's at home in this one, so I'm sticking with the Eagles.
What's up, Quail Goat? How are you, man? The championship Quail Goat. Well, I want to thank you very much for being here with us for basically 17 weeks. That goes for many of you goats. Really, really want to thank you for helping us. Have this channel now for 17 weeks. I've had a blast. I think the Wolf here has had a blast. I can speak for the Commissioner Rhino. He's had a blast. We are having a blast. We want to thank you again very much. If you're new to this channel, you want some championship lineup advice right now, do us a favor. Give us a like, subscribe. We appreciate that. It's Jarius Ford. It's Rico Dowdle. It's Anthony O. Thielen, Jordan Addison, Jerry Judy, or Brian Thomas Jr. Start 3. Well, you take the last one, you could put a check mark next to him.
The first and the last one are in for sure.
Okay, now it's either Rico playing playing that tough
I'm not
Eagles.
playing Rico against a tough defense in an ugly game where I think they crowd the box, and we saw how bad they ran the ball last week. I like Dowdle, you know that, but I don't like him in this spot. It's Thielen or Addison to
Well, I
me.
think look, Wolfie. You don't gotta preach to the choir. I mean, like, look, if we just seen Joe Mixon, we just seen Joe Mixon put up two like clunkers. What do you think? You think
Yeah,
Rico
this
Dowdle is supposed to be
Philly's gonna stuff that
infallible to
box,
that?
man.
Hmm.
Philly's gonna
So yeah,
stuff that box. Like
Rico
it's
Rico
Thielen or
Dowdle.
Addison for me, man. And I think I might lean Addison just because I mean he's been getting the targets, man. Addison's been really, really good, especially the last 5-6 weeks.
We just take the game that's got no weather conditions, no weather elements, and it's like one of the higher implied totals on the board. We
Yeah,
expect
I
a
mean
lot of points in this game.
Carolina Tampa Bay could end up being a pretty I think we could see a lot of points in there. I thank you, Notorious. I think yeah, it's tough because I think Carolina Tampa Bay could sneakily be one of the highest scoring games of the day. We know what Baker Mayfield and that offense can do. And like I said, Tampa Bay's secondary is not good. I think that, Carolina's offensive line should give Bryce Young plenty of time to throw the football, which bodes well for Thielen too. It's really close for me on Thielen and Addison.
um, yeah, I mean, like the only thing is, eh, no, I think I would still go with Jordan Addison. I would. I know that Adam Thielen is, operating as that team's wide receiver one, but I mean, like, look, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah, if Bryce Young's going to throw a couple of touchdowns, I don't really. Isn't Jalen Coker? Jalen Cocaine is getting a high first target reach share as well, isn't he? So it's not as if Adam Thielen is just like the only game in town, the only wide receiver on this team. So again, I mean,
did he practice today?
let's check
He's
out.
also dealing with a hamstring too.
Well,
If
he's
you want to
also
just add that
he's
variable in
also
there.
he's also 48.
Yeah. Hey, well, he's
uh,
still producing when he's on the field, but yeah,
like
he is,
he's older
possibly
than
playing with the
me.
hamstring.
He's been playing for a long time. In the meantime,
Only 59% of the snaps last week. I mean, you do have to worry about that. Addison, is going to be on the field, so
I would take Addison here. I think I
yeah.
would take Addison here based on the way this offense is humming. Again, based on that implied total. I don't. Where the hell? Maybe one day, Goats, we're going to get this operation correct, or I've got a screen that doesn't extend all the way here, and I can't find anything. Nevertheless, I know D, you need some help. We're here to help you, D Goat. Bryce Young versus Tampa or Jordan Love versus Minnesota. See, I know, I get this is a tricky one. This is a tricky one because Bryce Young has been playing better. He really has, and he's got a Tampa Bay secondary that, points could be put on the board against them. Their run defense is really good, but that doesn't really concern you because we're going to want, if we do start Adam Thielen, we're going to want Adam Thielen to shred up that secondary. Well, they do have a very young, talented, we think healthy wide receiver in Jalen Coker. It's still damn hard to start to sit Jordan Love. I'm still going to take Jordan Love in this game. I know he hasn't been really scoring points for you. He hasn't been asked to. He really hasn't been asked to. And even if they are missing a wide receiver, it doesn't even set them back. They've got plenty of weapons on this team, including the running back. I think the Packers are going to have to score some points, and I think they're going to have to do it through the air in this game. And I was just telling D, as much as we like Bryce Young, as much as he's been playing better, and as much as Tampa Bay secondary is the weaker of the two units, the front or the secondary, I'm not going to sit Jordan Love in this game. I'm not going to sit him here. He plays for the team that's better.
Yeah. There's always that scenario. Like I said, this could be a sneaky spot for Tampa, Carolina to be high scoring. With that said, it also could sneaky be a spot that the Panthers just put up a dud like they did a couple weeks ago when we expected big things. And the Packers might be playing the best football in the NFL right now. So
could you?
I think you just, yeah, I think.
Could you imagine?
You have to trust Jordan Love here. Although we can see the Panthers putting up some points, I think that's just a little too cute for me and a little too risky. I'm going to trust Jordan Love for sure.
I mean, like, it's not out of the question at all that the Packers may have to chase points in this game. I know Sniper Mel doesn't want to hear that. I mean, and she may think that I'm like rooting against the Packers because I'm not. But the fact of the matter is the Vikings have been playing some lights out football. They really have been. They're like firing on all cylinders. Are they allowing some points along the way? But yeah, they're scoring a lot of points. So the Packers may be chasing points in this game. And I'm not.
Minnesota, correct me if I'm wrong, but Minnesota, if they win and Detroit wins, they still have a chance to win the division next week with a game against Detroit, where I think Green Bay is kind of settled into their spot. So there's just that possibility.
But
if Green Bay wins and Minnesota loses,
right?
If
Green Bay wins, that leaves it all up in the air for like the number 1 seed, or at least for the division and the 1 seed.
If Minnesota would turn around and beat Detroit. So, I mean, there's still, both teams are still fighting. So, I mean, I'm going Jordan Love. I mean, back to what we said originally, regardless of that point.
I'm going to go with Jordan Love for various reasons.
Yeah.
And I wish you much luck. I'm very happy that you are playing in the championship. And let us know how it works. We will be back on Sunday. We may be back tomorrow, but we will be back on Sunday when a lot of the dust does settle. To recap it all, Jeremy, it's Bo Callahan or Brock Purdy. I like both quarterbacks. Yeah, this is the I guess the trouble, lack of a better word, with week 17. It's always the decisions are not easy. I would probably go. I think Brock Purdy's going to. I think the Niners are going to score on the Lions. The Lions have been giving up points. I know they only gave up 17 to the Bears, but if you look at the games prior to that, Packers, I think they gave up 31. They're weak in the secondary as well. They're just winning ball games because they are scoring more than their opponents. I like Brock Purdy here in this situation, and I would go with Colts versus Giants, Dolphins versus the Browns. And answer the quarterback too.
Bad defenses with great matchups. I mean, neither one of these defenses is any good, but the problem is they're playing like probably the 2 best matchups you could ask for. It's a toss-up. I have the Colts in a few leagues, so, I obviously want the Colts to have a big week. But those are the 2 top probably picking, top defenses you want to play, right? I mean,
look, I'm sure that we don't have to tell Jeremy Goat that the Giants absolutely stink.
Yeah, and the Colts were playing well last week before they let Tennessee, roll off 20 points and get back in that game somehow. I think that you're going to see a lot of Jonathan Taylor in that game. It's going to be probably pretty ugly. DTR, man, the Browns are not anything better. I mean,
what if Jameis gets in the game?
Yeah, there is that. I mean, I think it's a toss-up for me. I mean, again, neither one of these defenses have been very good all year long. And that's kind of the concern, is that, like, they haven't done anything to be confident in other than the matchups are so good, that you're expecting them to have a good week. I mean, the Colts get the Giants, man. The Giants are probably
you're getting no more than 10 to 13 points out of that team. You'll either get it from Malik maybe, or you might get it from one of the running backs. Hopefully, it would be Tyrone, not Devin Singletary. Nevertheless, that's it. That's it. Maybe a field goal. Also,
Yeah,
that's
I
it.
mean, I
That's
guess,
it.
yeah, it's a toss up, man. I mean, it's who makes that big play, right? Who has the turnover? Does one score a touchdown? They're both great plays. If you think Jameis might come in the game, then sure, you probably want to avoid that. That game
Um,
also could be rainy and ugly, like we talked about. So maybe that bodes a little better for Miami than Indy. Like I said, I have the Colts, so I'm probably a little biased in saying the Colts. But I think they're both great plays. So I'm going to say the Colts. And I'm also going to say Purdy. I think it's really close, but I think if I'm the Broncos, I'm trying to run the football. I'm trying to keep Joe Burrow off the field as much as I can. I think Nix has a good game because the matchup's there and he's going to have to throw. But I'm trying to negate Cincy's offense, where, like you mentioned, Purdy will have to put up points, and they should be
I
able
think
to put up some points against Detroit's defense,
I
regardless of
consider
the outcome. So,
I actually kind of consider it like an auditioning of sorts as well. Like he's got to finish off these last two games as good as possible, as like they enter the off season and they start talking about a contract extension. Now that should am I just like theorizing this? Of course I am. All right, but that's part of what we do. We try to look at every single corner and angle. Kamara is out. He definitely is out. So are we going to go with JK or are we going to go with the 1B, maybe RB2, not even 1B anymore, in Rashad White versus the Panthers? Well, we know again, I mean, like for a good close to 2 seasons and probably longer than that, the Panthers have been like the running funnel for running backs. I think Rashad White could get across the goal line here for Tampa. And I think Bucky Irving will get across the goal line as well. I think they would want both of. I think they could use both running backs, and you could still benefit if you're the Rashad White owner.
yeah,
Um,
you've benefited multiple weeks from both players. I mean,
Now again, it's not that J.K. is a bad deal here. It's not, but again, we're a little skittish on the usage. We're a little skittish the fact that yes, it's a 4 game absence. We're a little skittish that he's on the road playing out of his what time zone, out of his time
yeah,
zone, out of his
and
clock.
coming back, first game back. I mean, I think I expect more points in Tampa, Carolina. We've seen White be effective with Bucky Irving. I mean, he's had 3 top 10 finishes, since week 7. He's had 3 other ones that were RB2 finishes. And the ones that were outside of RB2 were 25, 30, and 35. Like he's relevant in this offense and he's not coming off an injury. And if Carolina can put up some points, that helps them even more, right? And so I'm not playing JK in his first game back over a guy that is on a good offense and relevant to what they do. I can't do it. I got to play Rashad White there.
I'm with you.
Chig.
I like Rashad White there as well. I do.
Yeah. And
Um,
we back Chig again on this one.
I think yeah, I know the Wolf Man over here, SoCal Wolf, is a Chig guy. I'm kind of a hot guy this week.
I love Hawkinson. I was big on him last week, and maybe I'm a little salty on that. He only had 2 catches. I talked him up a lot last week. I said on the show he'd score a touchdown,
and what do we always say? Better to be early than late.
Yeah,
So
and
let's go back to Hawk. Let's go back to Hawk.
But my thing with Hawkinson though, and what I said last week too, is he's a consistent 5 for 55. Because they have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and Aaron Jones, like they don't need to feed Hawk 10 times, 11 times. Where Tennessee, outside of Ridley, they're going to probably look to keep feeding Chig based on what we've seen. So I think there's a world where, yeah, Hawkinson has 5 for 55 on 6 targets, but Chig might have 10 targets.
Based on what we've seen, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's nothing that you're saying that's flawed at all. It's just again, just when you think you get your tight end into the end zone here because he has been producing and he's been playing good football. And then that's when, Nick Westbrook-Akine gets the touchdown
Yeah.
on two cat. I mean, that's what bothers me here. Or it's like a Calvin Ridley explosion just when everybody is sitting him or watching him in a third place game because we all drafted him in the mid rounds. So I mean, that's the only thing that's kind of bothering me with Chig. That's it. Nothing
Yeah,
else.
I mean
Nothing else.
Jacksonville's a good matchup for all those guys. I mean they're a great matchup for every offensive player
It's true.
on
It's true.
Tennessee.
That
So
that
that's
that's working in their favor as well, for sure, hands down.
but I mean, like I said, Hawkinson, he catches what's thrown to him, but how many times does he get the ball more than 5 or 6 times? And last week only getting it twice. On that note, I mean, I am again playing a Hawkinson touchdown because I'm not going to miss out on the week he gets it. And if he doesn't get one this week or next week, then so be it. Just like I'm playing the McBride touchdown. I've been playing him. I'm not missing that boat when it comes. So I got to get one before the season ends. But
we will go down with that ship.
Because if I don't play a Hawkinson or McBride touchdown,
that's when it'll happen.
They're going to score. But, that's the betting world. I'm hoping to clean up on those, play them together, get a nice little juicy number. Chig's just getting the volume, man. But I have no issue ever playing Hawkinson. He, to me, is one of the better tight ends in the league. You expect him to be involved. You expect 5 for 50, and you hope he finds the end zone. And if he does, again, it's a 16, 17-point day, and you're happy.
Book it. All right. Yeah, no, look.
Do you want to go old reliable
how about
with
this?
Hawkinson? Old reliable or new shiny toy?
It's true. It's true. All right. Well, I mean, look, Papa Izzy Goat. I was going to say, it's kind of like, you're flipping a coin here, kind of, sort of. I know some may say go with your gut. I don't say there's no gut here. Yeah. Look, the wolf likes Chig. I'm going to go TJ Hawkinson. Please let us know what you did. And I wish you nothing but the best, Papa Izzy Goat. Shadows Goat. He wants one here. Out of these options, I would go with Jerome Ford in the flex here. I would. The only thing, if this is like no, you know what? It would be Marvin Harrison Jr. or Jerome Ford. Even if this is PPR,
I'm not taking 8 targets that might not even half of them are quality over.
I want to let's take the full volume of a starting running back, even though it's a bad Browns team. He's really their only option. If Jameson Winston comes back, it actually works out better for Jerome Ford. Even with then they can actually move the ball and get Jerome Ford into a better situation to get into the end zone. So I like Jerome Ford here, Shadow Goats.
Yeah, same. Jerome Ford. We're on the Jerome Ford train this week, so hopefully that works out.
I think it should. I mean, look, we had last week was even easier than this week. Jerome Ford last week was easy. Last week
word
was
in the world
easy.
of sports. Should. It should.
Who did the Browns play last week? I mean, it didn't make a difference. Like Jerome Ford was getting that.
They played the Bengals. Remember, we were robbed of the Jameis Winston shootout. The Browns scored 6 points, and they took a touchdown away from Jerome Ford to give it to Deontay Foreman on the goal line, and he fumbled.
Yes.
I don't think we see that again. Give the ball to Jerome Ford. Let him get the touchdown. That's what we want for Jerome Ford owners. Give us the end zone, baby.
Uneducated Education Go. That's a fantastic name, like many of the other GOAT names that we have here. Uneducated Education. I think you may be new to the channel, so if you are in fact new, please give us a like and subscribe. Jalen McMillan has been playing freaking lights out. Keyshawn Boot, right? I think that's how you pronounce it. Booty. Keyshawn Boutte or Josh Downs. It's an interesting group here. I'd like to say that this would be a wide receiver three, no matter how you slice it or dice it. I don't think I want to trust Keyshawn Booty though in Week 17. Um, I like the way Baker Mayfield has been using Jalen McMillan. I do expect Mike Evans to have a really good game though, but that doesn't mean that Jalen McMillan can't eat. And now moving over to Josh Downs. So it basically comes down to those two for me, Wolf. I mean, are we going to see a Josh Downs spike, or is it just it is what it is? Anthony Richardson is just he can't complete passes, or he's not asked to complete passes. He did complete 7 of them last week, but only threw 11 of them for 7. So I mean, like with that volume, even though they're playing the Giants, that's not you can't work with that volume.
No. And I expect a lot of Jonathan Taylor. Again, the Giants can't stop the run. I mean, they can't stop the pass either, but like the Colts should run the football 25 times again in this matchup. I don't see why not. That was the comment I referenced earlier about Vidal. But yeah, I think I like what Booty is doing in New England. Like, I think that's a nice it's good for New England football. What's going on there with Drake May, with him. Like, there's some nice young promise. But I'm not playing him against the Chargers in this game.
But
I like Downs.
I don't mean to cut you off.
But I'm playing Jalen McMillan. He's been too good. He's getting too many targets. This is a high-powered offense, and Carolina loves to run cover 3. They're going to take away the inside. That favors Jalen McMillan. It also favors Hall of Famer Mike Evans.
I love that.
But you're going to hone in on Mike Evans. So hopefully Jalen McMillan gets the matchup, the coverage, and they try to take away Evans, which means Baker goes after McMillan. He's going to get some shots over the top. I think I'm chasing, that 2-touchdown boom of McMillan. Plus, he's getting the targets. You mentioned the Downs of 11 attempts, right? Like, if it's 15 attempts, we saw this with Zay Flowers the other day, and this was not in a negative way because Baltimore didn't need it, but he saw 33% target share. The problem is Lamar threw the ball 15 times. If the Colts throw the ball 15 times and Downs only gets 5 targets, McMillan's getting at least 5, and he's getting a shot deep at least once. And like I said, I think the coverage is there. The matchup is there. The potential for the high scoring is there. Better weather than in New York, probably. Better quarterback play, better everything, better offense. I think you got to keep rolling with McMillan, man.
I agree with all of it.
Yeah, Mel. We know. No strange. My apologies. I was not here for the Disley, although I was all about Disley that week too, I'm sure. But
you bite your tongue, young lady, with Disley.
Brendan Strange, we told you he was going to let us down. We just
she's the tight end whisperer.
I love my tight ends, baby.
I can't stand any of them. None of them. We should just abolish the position.
Oh, come on, man. Tight ends make it fun.
Yeah, not really. Love my
tight ends. Kickers, got to have them, baby.
McMillan, Butte, Josh Downs with a potential Flacco starting.
Same question. I mean.
Yeah, no, I know it's the same question with Joe Flacco starting. Is Anthony Richardson's going to start?
I mean,
is Anthony Richardson not going to? He's on the injury report. I saw that, but
I don't think he's missing the game.
Jeb Duffy, I would play the Rams defense against the Cardinals, although both options aren't ideal. Could you perhaps look to see another unit that might be available? I mean, that may be a tough ask, week 17 on a Friday night, but I mean, I know the Vikings defense has been good, at least their front 7. They're rushing against the rush. They are very, very good. And that kind of makes the Josh Jacobs managers maybe a little nervous. I get that part as well. The Rams defense is kind of middle of the pack. They're playing well. They're playing well enough, and they could get you they could get you some sacks, maybe. I don't know about that many turnovers. Maybe I would play the Rams here, or look for an alternative.
Yeah.
There might be an alternative out there that we're not addressing, or we're not snatching.
Yeah. I don't
Snatching.
know. Yeah,
Do
I'm not a
you
fan. I still think I might lean the Vikings, though. I
again?
mean,
Would you against the Packers?
just think they're a better defense. I don't.
That would make me nervous. That would.
It makes me nervous, but it also is a division game. I mean, they're at home. I do like that. They did okay against them in Green Bay the first time around. I mean, wasn't special. I'm not. I don't know, man. The Rams. Got smoked. I mean, yeah, they were terrible against Arizona the first time, but that was just a terrible game. I don't like either one. I mean, I think the only team maybe would, if somebody didn't pick up the Raiders, I can't imagine who else is really.
Well, all right. So here we go. I said Vikings or Rams, and then I was kind of hinting to maybe look for another defense. And here's that third option, the Raiders. I'm not sure if you were on earlier, Jeb, or not, but I mean, I think that, look, yeah, the Rams are playing better. I mean, the Raiders are playing better defense. They are kind of a sneaky play at this time, but the Saints. The Saints could very well score in this team. Also, they could. I don't know. Would you take the? Put them in order, Wolf. Vikings, Rams, Raiders. Raiders, Rams, Vikings. Put the three in order.
I think I'm going Vikings, Raiders, Rams. I know it's Green Bay, but there's just a part of me that the Raiders are going on the road. New Orleans is back at home. I think they'll be able to do a little bit more. Like, this isn't a imposing defense in Las Vegas, although they've been pretty good. I mean, I think I have the Vikings ranked probably right above the Raiders of those three, but I'm okay with playing the Raiders. I don't like defenses on the road as much as I do at home. But I understand Green Bay's offense. I also understand Minnesota is not good against the wide receivers. I mean, Love should be able to throw the football and have a pretty good day.
It's like those two offensive minds, going head to head, squaring off against one another. Which one, the battle of the wits, so to speak, battle of the offensive wits. I don't know. Like I kind of feel like the Packers. Look, just don't turn the ball over, and then the points will come from there. Again, this is a high implied total. I'm really working off of that and the eye test.
Yeah, I'm okay with playing the Raiders there. I mean, if you like the Raiders over the Vikings, they're right next to each other for me. Vikings are a better defense, but the Raiders probably have a better matchup, even though it's on the road. And even if the Saints do something on offense, I mean, how much will they really do, right? So, I mean, I'm okay with the Raiders there.
So, right. So this, yeah. So go with the Raiders, Jeb. I mean, I like them better than the Vikings. I'll put it that way. Although, like, statistically speaking, the Vikings' overall defensive unit is better or higher ranked. In this situation, though, since the Saints is that lousy. And the Raiders are playing better, if that's such a thing. If you could actually say a 3 and what are they, 3-14, 3-13?
Yeah, I mean, but hey, like Antonio Pierce said, they're playing to win. I mean, they played pretty good against Atlanta, in that ugly Monday night game. I mean,
does this change anything for you? Because IP is pointing out that it's 900 rushing yards, not necessarily another 90 in 2 games. He needs to reach 900 for the season. JK's at 766. That leaves us with about 200 and, if my math is correct, 200 and what? 40?
134.
7, 8. Right. Okay.
So I think they would love to get this for him, but not at the expense of rushing him back. And he's still just opened that window. Now, if he's fully good to go, and they're just going to, take the chains off and let him run wild, but back to the point that he was never getting, 15 plus. He was not the workhorse that he is. I think that I don't see this as a team that's like, we just want to run him in, get him the incentive, and we don't care about, his health. This is a guy that's been hurt a lot. It's his first
Let's
game back.
let's not
I'm
kill
not a
the.
big fan of guys off in injury. It's one thing when we're talking about, Jamar Chase, Mike Evans, like guys you just don't sit. But a running back that's had injuries that I like,
Yeah,
I just temper that. Though that's with the group of 3 other really good players too. I'm still sitting Dobbins. If he has a good
yeah,
game over those guys, so be it.
yeah. IP.
I'm living with Jennings, Neighbors, and London,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think. Oh man, it's a tough one. I think based on all the other circumstances. Give me Jawan Jennings in like a potential shootout against the Lions. Give me that. I'll take. Let me go down with that as opposed to going down with J.K. Getting, do it. Look, if J.K. busts one for like 85 yards, then they're not gonna complain either, right? They're not
No,
gonna
of
say,
course
"Oh
not. And
shit."
there's a
Get
chance of
like
that, but
they're not gonna put him on ice. Mad Max Corleone. Yeah, Eagles or Colts. Yeah, big time conversation. The Cowboys. Look, the Cowboys mailed it in the minute they put. Well, I mean, we know they've mailed it in, but now they've really. It's like mailed in to another level with no CD. This team has no offense. There's no
I don't know if
Rico
they
down.
mailed it in or if they were,
Yeah,
mailed it
they're
in. It's like
finished.
giving up on purpose. I think CeeDee Lamb's just that hurt. He wants to play. He fell on that shoulder hard. He's been
Yeah,
playing on
no,
a banged up shoulder. I don't think
did
this is
he
a
did
case
hit.
of CeeDee Lamb just sitting out just to sit out because the Cowboys want him to. And I could
Yeah,
be wrong. That's just my speculation. But he's been playing. The season has meant nothing last week. He was out there the entire time on a hurt shoulder, and he fell on that thing hard. You saw the way
I
he got
saw I
up.
saw that. I saw that. I
He
saw
wasn't
that.
faking an injury. He said himself he wants to be out there. He said people pay to come see the best wide receiver in the league, right? He wants to play football. And so there's a little bit of the organization that says it's also not worth it, but I like the Colts, but a defense that's been good all year at home, like I think I'd probably just roll the better team that's had a better defense all year and take the Eagles. But like I said, I'm a big fan of the Colts this
I
week, but
don't
I think I'll just take the better defense at home.
I don't think you could go wrong, to be honest. Either way, the more opportunistic defense here is the Eagles. Eagles are just like I think they already know what Cooper Rush is going to do. And I think they're just gonna jump
It's a good
lanes.
defense at home.
They're a good
And even the Colts, I
opportunistic
know the
defense.
Giants suck, but the Giants suck. But I'm just going to say this is a bad defense going on the road in what is a great matchup. But that doesn't necessarily mean,
Would
like I
you
said, they ended up being awful against Tennessee last week, even though it looked great. So with who you're talking about, the other option, I'm trusting one of the better defenses in the league at home in what could be ugly weather. There's just too much for me to get away from the Eagles here.
and this one for Max Goat is easy. I mean, I would never take the Chargers kicker in Foxborough. I wouldn't
Listen,
want to.
Cameron Dicker is a stud,
Hmm.
but
The kicker.
yeah, I think you're on the road. The other game
the
is indoors. Cardinals giving up a lot of points to the kicker all season long. Like I think I'm going to take a game that should have a pretty good total, and it's inside. I'm going to roll with Cardi here.
I'll go with Cardi. Cardi B. Max
Yeah,
Goat.
Dicker's been great. He's been a great kicker for that team.
Matt,
He's had some
this
good
dude,
fantasy weeks, but
this dude Max doesn't even need to start a kicker, and he'll just win anyway. I can't wait for you to come on Sunday or next week. By the way, next week we will have shows. We will definitely have programming. We just don't have it set up for which day or time, this and that. We know we will continue on with the DFS. We'll probably do a recap, like an awards type of deal. Is that something that we do? Is that something that you've seen? I'm pretty
I think we
sure,
could do
like,
that. Sure, we can do something, at least some kind of after season thought.
yeah. So when Max comes on with either like the huge trophy or like a picture of him with like a big bottle of champagne, I look forward to that. Same thing for Alinda Goat and Quail. Appreciate you, Quail Goat. Need one wide receiver, one flex. See, Cortland Sutton, Trey McBride, and Jalen McMillan. I feel like Alinda may be maybe the only Cortland Sutton manager that's playing in Week 17 championship. Love it. Alinda, if you knew the two of us, Cortland Sutton is like the bane of our existence. The bane of it. But God bless, Cortland Sutton has emerged out of the depths of that 2022 season and has actually like managed to make a career for himself. God bless him. Now with Bo Nix, Trey McBride.
He's the guy on that team. I mean, last year we talked about last year was all touchdowns and that was it. And so we didn't think he'd be duplicated because this was a young team, not a good offense, not a good football team. Well, the reality is Denver's a decent football team. Bo Nix is a very good quarterback. They can throw the football. This is a great matchup against a Cincinnati team that gives up a ton of points and scores a lot of points. I have to play Cortland Sutton.
But look at the interesting option here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
in the middle, so we're gonna put the.
I'm playing. Oh well,
it's one.
It's one wide receiver, one flex. So I'm playing McBride. I am on board that they feed him this week after his little rant last week. He's too good. He's wide open. Again, if you watch the tape of that game last week, he is wide open. I don't know what Kyler's looking at, which back to your comment about a QB problem, maybe because Kyler missed him all day long. I don't know if he couldn't see over the line. I don't know. Maybe he was thinking about his
Well, I'm sure that's part.
I don't know, but
I'm sure that's part of it. The fact that
dude was wide open. Seeing if you watch the game film of that game all day, but I think they feed him. It's a good matchup for him against the Rams, who are a great tight end matchup. If you want the boom, you might go Jalen McMillan. If are you down? Did you, are you losing already? Did you play against Kelsey or Henry and you have a JSN? Like, are you chasing points? Maybe there's a little more boom upside in McMillan, but I think the plays are Sutton and McBride.
I would take the first two here. I would take the first two out of the three.
And even with the boom, like Sutton could be that too. The Bengals, don't forget, the Bengals give up a ton of points.
Just for the fact of let's take McBride's body of work for this season. He's been a machine. He's been a machine receiving the ball, the receptions, the target share that he gets out of the Cardinals normally. So yeah, last week was probably an outlier. Has to be an outlier, I would think. I would take the first two here, Alinda. Let us know how it goes. Well, you'll let us know about the championship, the trophy size, where it's being, where it's going to be displayed in your championship hallway. No, in all honesty, it's going to be a tough matchup for the Packers. It's going to be a tough. Yeah, I would think it's going to be a tough matchup for the Packers, but I expect the points to be scored in that game as well. And they're going to have a fantastic fan base, Vikings area. Though I think I read 71% of the purchase tickets were from Pack. And Wolfie Jr. She talked about Wolfie Jr., I guess, right?
She's talking about Wolfie Jr. So in Iggy at IDP, Iggy, has his FF7s league, which is a charity league as well.
Nice,
Shout out
nice.
Iggy. Shout out Iggy. I mean, it's Kawasaki's disease, which if you don't know, is like a inflammation type deal, common in infants. Their child had it, and Iggy, this dude does a great job. Like he puts up posters in hospitals. Like all the proceeds go to awareness of this disease at all the local hospitals, and it's catching fire, and he's spreading it to other states, and it's a beautiful thing. And this is a 16-team league with IDP. My 18-year-old son is playing in it for the first time, and he's in the championship.
Nice.
And looking, the projections are going okay for him. So yeah, shout out SoCal Junior.
No
I
sniper
guess you could
melon.
say he's a chip off the old block.
Of course he is. I mean, he's a junior Wolf Junior, and we know that Sniper Mel enjoys that
I
league as
was in
well.
first place in my division there, but I did get knocked out the first week with a terrible performance, and then of course backed it up with a amazing week 2 when it didn't matter. You know how it goes. But nonetheless, shout out Iggy, shout out to the Kawasaki's awareness. If you don't know about it, look it up, hit up Iggy, and shout
Yeah,
out
it's
to
great. I don't want to say great cause because like the cause is it's a disease. Great efforts. Yes, number one, great efforts. Number two, um, the league itself, very well ran, right? Very well ran.
oh yeah,
He
Iggy's
does
on
he does
top
he,
of it,
he
man,
does he
and
does a good job. I don't want to screw around with that. Let's call what it is. He's a good organizer. He's a good commissioner. Whatever. He does a good job there. Um, and yeah, yeah, good for your boy. So it's chip off the old block.
we love all good causes around here. And
Yeah,
the big thing about it is it's not that common and people don't know about it. And you want to, if you catch it early in infants, it's treatable. That's the thing. People don't know that their kids have it.
that's good.
Thus the awareness
That's
being
good.
raised. So I don't want to minimize it, but like I said, shout out Iggy. Check it out. Check him out. He's awesome. They're awesome. The league's awesome.
I think that might have been Sniper's first fantasy football league. Was that FF7s? Look at how far she's come. Let's get to would you start Josh Allen or Jaden Daniels in full PPR? Imagine brave hard goat. We're talking about the QB1 and probably the QB 5, 6, 5, something along those lines. I don't want to get cute here. And look at that expression. So yeah, we talked about this actually. We said let's not get cute with our studs, right? That would be the second part of it. Let's not get cute. I think it applies here.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels is the league winner as well. I mean, but I'm not sitting Josh Allen.
I think it applies here. Now he's playing the Jets, and I guess there might be some trepidation if the Bills are up, into the second half. Does Josh Allen sit? Well, what if the Bills aren't that far ahead in the second half? What if the Jets are making this a close game? The Buffalo Bills are still going to want to play and win this game all the way through, as opposed to just sitting Josh Allen within the third quarter. When Josh Allen, if Josh Allen is going to, come out of the game, it would be like with 4 minutes left, just like you just saw with Lamar, right? And by then you got all your requisite points. You've got the Josh Allen points that you need. So yeah, and look, Jaden Daniels is a great young quarterback, potential league winner. I wouldn't again.
We saw what, like you said, Lamar did with what Lamar did with a little. Josh Allen can have a huge impact. And at the end of the day,
he's still a rookie.
I just can't sit. The one of two MVP candidates. I'm just living and dying by Josh Allen at this point.
Yeah, I mean, again, imagine Braveheart. These teams don't like each other. They don't. All right, just like the Patriots and the Jets, they don't like each other. The Jets will attempt to get up for the game. By the way, since we have touched up a little bit about weather here or there, you know what the weather's going to be like in Buffalo this weekend? Just take a guess real quick.
Probably cold.
53 degrees.
Oh, that's beautiful.
53 degrees. We don't have any global warming problem at all. But yeah, there should be no weather issue in Buffalo whatsoever. Okay, Miami, DST, or Green Bay. Well, much like I don't really want to play the Vikings, flip the script. I wouldn't want to play Green Bay for the same reason, Alinda. Same reason. And I guess that leaves us with Miami playing against the Browns. And that's going to be tough because what if they pull DTR?
Yeah, but if that's the case,
James.
hopefully Miami's gotten you. If
You know
that's the
what? Good
case,
point.
Miami's gotten you
Good
some
point.
points, and hopefully it's not enough where Jameis comes in. And even if he does come in at that point, you've gotten points from Miami, and this game could, like I said, the sleek, the slippery, the weather, it could be not the greatest conditions for Jameis to air it out anyway. Not that it'll stop him from chucking it, but you should be looking good. And Green Bay's on the road against a pretty good offense. I think it's Miami for sure.
I'm with you there now. It's a beautiful thing when the wolves talk one another through the process, collaborate through the process. It's not necessarily trying to convince you otherwise. It's more of a persuasion, right? Persuasion would be the right word.
Yeah, it's
To
about
come to draw the best conclusion.
yeah, it's about looking at as many angles and variables as we can that maybe haven't been thought of and that we think of as we are talking it out with all the, research that we do with the matchups we look at, and then more and more comes out, and then we make a decision. And at the end of the day, no matter who you listen to, I don't care if it's the, Roto Sports, if it's fantasy footballers, if it's me and Sieg, like it's your lineup. You have to make the decision, and a lot of these are close calls. And so we just want to give as much insight as possible. And then I'm going to make my decision, right? Back to the trust your gut. The gut is all the info you take in, what you think, how you see it, and then making a choice. And at the end of the day, if it worked out the way we all thought it would, we wouldn't be playing fantasy football because all the preseason rankings would be perfect and it would be boring. So here we are. We're in week 17 talking about Alexander Madison, and Kareem Hunt and Brenton Strange and, guys that we were not talking about 17 weeks ago.
No, Brenton Strange was not on my bingo card.
Cannot predict.
He definitely was not.
Some of those things. So
nor was Will Disley. Will Disley wasn't on my bingo card, but
but Hayden Hurst was no fantasy tight end in LA was really an option on either team, really, on either LA team. But Hurst goes down, and they got no options, and Disley arises, right? But
it's what we saw unfold, and where Justin Herbert was going with the ball, yes, and how the offense was moving through the air. Kyle,
and how we adjust. That's why we do waivers. That's why we talk about those things. That's why we pick people up. That's why it's nonstop for 17 weeks, because you're going to lose guys. Guys are going to come out of nowhere. Guys are going to come on late. Who do you hold on to? Who do you let go? I mean, it's a lot going on, man. All right, let's mow through some of these.
I wouldn't say that Kyle Baker fucked up. I mean, he didn't play the Seahawks defense. I get it. Bears have been playing pretty decent until last night. No, the Eagles defense can do the same thing. What did the Hawks defense do last night?
They didn't give up a lot of points. I don't know how much they really
in terms of fantasy points.
Yeah. Plus, again, back to the Eagles questions we've gotten. This is a good defense at home in a good matchup in a game that could be impacted by weather. Like, you didn't sit them for the Raiders or the Vikings, who might have a decent game. You sat them for one of the better defenses in the NFL.
No, I'm not.
You're okay.
Look, the Eagles defense could wind up giving you well over 20 points, especially if they
you're
score.
Okay there. Yeah,
especially if they score, you'll be cruising. Full PPR start 2 in the flex. Start 2 flex. Oh, I like that. Jalen Cocaine, Tajay Spears, J-Mo Williams, Josh Downs, Timmy Patrick, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We got a Tim Patrick sighting. So, Cal, give Imagine Braveheart 2 here. We'll go rapid fire.
Yeah, 2 here. Let's see. Coker, Spears, J-Mo, Downs, Patrick. I mean, I don't think I can go Tim Patrick there. Not over J-Mo.
Yeah, right. Good point. If we're, I would go J-Mo if we've got both lines there.
if Pollard's playing, I don't feel as confident about Spears. Like I'm totally fine playing Spears if Pollard is out. Do I like?
My two would my two here would be
Let me see real quick. Let me look at my.
Jamison Williams, based on how they used him as an extension kind of off of like not having Monty. So they got
It's
creative.
probably I think it's JMO and Downs probably.
I think they would continue to get creative, the Lions, with JMO Williams not having Monty on the field. And who's your second?
I think it's got to be Downs.
I may go with Cocaine.
I don't know if I can make. I know he's been a little more involved. I
think I may go with Jalen Coker over Downs. I can't believe the amount of. Yeah, I mean,
if Pollard sits, I'll take the volume of Spears and JMO. If Pollard plays, I'm gonna go JMO and Downs by a thread over Coker. But I mean, I get it. Coker's gonna get some looks too. But
this is the second Flacco Wolf Podson. Thank you very much for the question. Appreciate you coming in. If you're new to the channel, which I believe you are, please like and subscribe. And I want to thank you for asking us about Joe Flacco again. We know that Anthony Richardson is on the injury report, but what is it that now is making people believe that Joe Flacco is going to play in this bowl game? Is there news that came out while we're live that we don't know about?
I haven't seen anything new, but maybe we missed that. But
this is the second Joe Flacco, like whether to start or sit. Nothing is leading us to believe that Anthony Richardson is not playing in this game, Podson. We know he's on the injury report. They're going to continue to roll with Anthony Richardson as long as he's able to play. And I don't think nothing here indicates that this is serious.
I mean, but so if that's the case, I mean, I guess if Flacco goes, and I still don't think they're going to run the ball a ton. I don't think they're going to have to throw the football. But Flacco's probably the better of the three, but Rudolph's been formidable the last 2 weeks. I mean, he gave us, 15 and a half and 14 and a half. Jacksonville's a great matchup. I mean, if you're looking at it that way, he should get you 15 again. And so, and Pickett, I mean, they're going to run the ball a ton too. So
Anthony Richardson.
I'd play Rudolph over Pickett, I think. I just don't know if Flacco goes, how much do they have to throw the ball against the Giants? Like, I think I'll roll.
Anthony Richardson is listed as questionable. He didn't practice today. It's his back and his foot. Look, they benched Joe Flacco.
I mean, Flacco wasn't good.
To restart Anthony. I know they benched Richardson. They played Joe Flacco. Then they just said, well, you're not helping us either. We might as well just go back to the project, being Anthony Richardson, who's actually gotten them into at least this position. I know he's not giving us much in the air, but he's making it up by the design.
So if Flacco starts, who are you playing if Flacco starts?
Rudolph.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, I just don't think they'll have to throw that much. I still see a ton of JT, couple shots from Flacco.
It would not be Pickett. Under any circumstance, it would be Mason Rudolph, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. And I'm playing Higgins unless I have a real wide receiver one option above him. I mean,
T may actually benefit the greatest out of the wide receiver room.
Yeah, and he's just too good not to play. Unless you're talking, we're talking, Mike Evans and AJ Browns and guys like that, which we probably aren't. Like I'm playing Higgins in most cases.
Yeah, I'm in no way, shape, or form worried about T. Higgins.
But if you got it, if it's Higgins or somebody, then throw that in there for sure, just in case. But
let's go with more rapid fire. Risk 88. Would you start Goff or Burrow? Feels like everyone says Burrow, but I'm already starting Amon-Ra and Laporta. So do you want all of the eggs in one basket? Is what you're asking us. That's basically it. Do you want to go with all Lions? Hope that all Lions, those three lines, continue to put up 34 points playing against the Niners team, which they could very well put up another 34 to 40 points. It's possible. Do they want to save anything for the playoffs? I mean, I don't think they think like that.
They're still trying to win the division.
Yeah, I don't really think they think like that. Typically, I would say no. I wouldn't want to play all three of these guys together. But since you already have them, knowing that the weather and the environment is going to be more friendlier to the Lions, I believe, out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the weather, like I said, last I saw before we came on, it was better than it has been all week to where it looks like the worst will be after the game. But still, with this situation specifically, I mean, it's championship week. You might as well just go in on the best offense and stack all those points. I mean, and live with it, because Burrow should have a good game regardless too, but Goff should still have a good game, and you're getting those points each time they touch the football. So how much different is it going to be starting Burrow? And if it's great, it's going to be real great with Goff. So I'm fine with going down in championship week with that, man.
I don't see any reason why you couldn't, especially yeah. I mean the Niners are going to play them up as well. The Niners are going to score points against the Lions. I would do it. I don't have a problem with it. Just be prepared. Let's say okay, so maybe Laporta may not have the game, or the other way around. Let's say Sammy Ballgame does do well. He goes over 100, 8 catches, 100 yards and a touchdown. I don't know. Maybe Amon-Ra doesn't have the game. But Jared Goff is still throwing it around. So you may not hit a home run on all three lines. However, you're betting on the team itself and the players on the team. Custom Hockey Goat, you're not in a jam. You're not. It's week 17. You're in the championships. This is not a jam for you. And I sat Stroud. Yeah, we're glad that you sat Stroud also. My options now is Drake May. But I still pick up another one and see if AR gets declared out before. I don't think. Look, you call me crazy. Nothing is telling me as of now, 9:50 Eastern, that Anthony Richardson is all of a sudden now not playing because he didn't practice today. I don't see it. I don't see Flacco starting in this.
Yeah, and it's again, the Giants suck, but even if he does play, first game back, it's on the road, it's outdoors, a lot of Jonathan Taylor. Possible weather there too, right? Like at least May gives you a little bit of the rushing upside. They're at home. Maybe they can stick around, west to east coast. Chargers maybe come out flat. They shouldn't. It's a win and in situation, but they are going early game, right? I mean, May's got a little bit more upside on the ground too. I'm still playing May, even if that's the case. So I probably got one more in me, Siegs.
You got one more? All right, folks.
Unfortunately, I would stay on all night, but I got another.
Yeah, no, we could wrap up here. We really appreciate all.
But hey, my at SoCal Ball Nerd, shoot me a DM. I will answer your questions all the way till kickoff, gladly.
Let's go right here. Not that I'm skipping over Sniper intentionally.
You did skip over Christopher, though.
So I'll get to Christopher.
We could do okay.
All right, go. Christopher.
We'll need a streamer. Okay, need a streamer. What are your options to replace Hurts? Give us a list of those quarterbacks. Because that was that other one, and then we'll answer this one first.
Christopher needs Jaden Reed, Jalen McMillan, or Kendra Miller, full PPR. Really
all right, so
not Kendra Miller.
I bet you Kendra Miller ends up having a great week because they didn't use him last week. The Raiders are a great matchup, but I can't trust. They didn't show me any reason to give him volume, so I'm not trusting that. I just feel like at home against the Raiders, we could see a good game, but I'm scared. I don't trust that. I'm not scared. Jaden Reed is a safe play and a good matchup. Jalen McMillan probably has a little bit more upside. Do you want to swing for a big game for Jalen McMillan?
plus,
Trust a
plus,
safe option in Jaden Reed.
plus, according to Sniper and Coach LaFleur, Christian Watson may not play.
Yeah.
We know
And
Christian Watson is questionable.
Minnesota's a good matchup for wide receivers. I think this should be a good Jaden Reed game where he sees, 5 or 6 catches possibly, right? He can take one and go too. So I like Reed. I think McMillan has a little more boom, and I don't trust Kendre. So
we're fans of McMillan, so it's not that at all. But you have a better option in Jaden Reed at this time. That's all. Yeah, Martin, we need to replace Jalen Hurts. That's for sure. That's for sure. There's probably a good amount of quarterbacks, decent amount of options.
Bryce Young is who he's eyeing is the next comment. I'm fine with Bryce Young. I mean, whatever the other list is. But again, back to we talked earlier, I expect some points in Carolina, Tampa Bay. Like Bryce Young should be able to have a decent game through the air in that matchup.
Linda needs one flex in the second league. It's Cup, Abdullah, or Rashad White in the flex. Rashad White against if Rashad White's here and Amir Abdullah, I'm gonna go with Rashad White over Amir Abdullah, and then Cup in the flex over Rashad White for me. Playing against the Cardinals.
Oh, yeah, that's tough, man.
I could see Rashad White also. Don't get me wrong.
And full PPR. I mean, God, I think it might be. I know it's hard to sit Cup. If you can't sit Cup, I get it. But I think what we've seen lately and how involved White is and how lack of involvement Cup is, I'm okay with White here. But, we've just seen Cooper Kupp be a stud. It just hasn't happened the last 3 weeks. And I know we're just like, it's got to happen because he's Cooper Kupp. Rashad White's been a lot more consistent. So, all right, Siegs.
Wolfie, appreciate you. Good luck tomorrow. Folks, we will return tomorrow as well. We will be on at some point in between the second game and the 8:00 game, right? And we will watch the game together and we will answer the rest of the start set questions for you then. Granted, I understand that there are 3 games tomorrow, 6 teams, but then the full slate of games are on Sunday, so the majority of your questions will come from that slate, and we will be here to answer them for you. Sound like a plan?
There we go.
Yeah,
sounds like answer some of these, or are you leaving?
Well, I'm gonna leave too.
Hey,
we are gonna take off.
The DMs are open. We'll be back tomorrow night. But like I said, shoot me a message at SoCal Ball Nerd on Twitter. Send me a DM with anything in the comments or any other questions. I will get back to you. Let's win a ship. I'll see y'all later.
Appreciate you guys. We will see you tomorrow. If we don't, nothing but the best of luck. You don't need luck. You are goats. Have a great night, guys.